So, are you just to sort of make it clear? Are you teaching flower arranging, or are you actually doing floral arrangements?
Two things. What we do when I sort of go out, I'm demonstrating to an audience all the different methods and techniques you can do. But the organisation, especially in this northwest area, we do have a lot of workshops that are set up for people to come along. I also do quite a few. Well, when I say quite a few, when I'm available to do them, I'll do workshops for various techniques, and I've actually run a few courses just for beginners.
Right, but you say here that you've had floral art in Liverpool Anglican Cathedral and Westminster Abbey.
Yeah. Well, Westminster Abbey is probably the biggest thing I've ever done. I was part of a team that, if you look down the middle of central Westminster Abbey, there's like 6 towers on either side. Well, a few of us had to make designs 12 foot by 4 foot to go on them towers, and we had to make 24 and get them specially lifted up.
And does somebody just approach you like a commission to do that?
Yeah, well, we get invited to sort of go, and then we get funded for it to do.
I see.
You know, like all the cost of materials and stuff like that.
Okay.
When we do the likes of Westminster Abbey.
Well, why would you get funded? Is that because you're teaching people as well? I mean, you have people who are apprentices as well. Well,
the northwest area and NAFAS, it's an educational sort of charity. You know, we're aiming to sort of teach
so you can
people.
We'll take all the details of this later. But very, very, very briefly, lastly, what I'm interested in as well, or we hope you tell us, is, you know, growing. There's a great emphasis now on people growing their own vegetables, and obviously, you know, there's cost saving in that. So, is there a lot of allotments in the Liverpool area, or can people grow things in their own gardens, or even say a yard? How would all that work?
Do you know, like, more so now, people are getting more like ingenious in their methods of sort of like growing their own. You could sort of do little cash crops in window boxes. If you've got like a relatively small or, you know, small size yard or back garden or that, you can get like fruit trees that will just grow very small.
Really?
You can get some that will only grow about 5 foot high.
And what sort of fruit? Apples, you mean?
Apples, pears, but you grow them as a cordon on a single line. But that's the same with the likes of gooseberries as well. A lot of the top restaurants now actually sort of grow their own salads on what we call a wall garden. And what I mean by that, they sort of have like a panel put up, and they have rows and rows.
Boxes.
Literally rows and rows of plants grown, like salads.
What would they be planted in? Where would the soil be? In
like little troughs, but it's
they're like wedge-shaped troughs.
Have you seen them?
It cascades down. And the restaurants, just when they want a certain type of
Isn't
salad.
That wonderful?
Yeah, but the same thing could be done in people's gardens.
Or in yards.
In yards and stuff like that. To sort of like utilise the space that they've got.
That's right.
You wouldn't get great amounts, but they could get
you
quite
could
a nice
get a
variety.
weekly amount, couldn't you?
Yeah. There's nothing to say you can't grow a couple of bags of potatoes. A bin bag. You know, you can grow strawberries in baskets, tomatoes in baskets. Yeah. So really, you can utilise the space by hanging stuff on the wall.
But allotments are very popular, aren't they?
They are.
I would imagine there's waiting lists for allotments.
Well, there is. Like, I think a lot. I do know people who've got allotments, and I think once you've got them for good. I've actually just now started.
It's like pass them on, don't they?
Well, yeah. I actually sort of I've signed a couple of schools up in Liverpool to the RHS's School for Campaign Gardening at St Cecilia's Juniors and St Cecilia Infants and Nurseries, and we're literally now just coming to the second phase of developing allotments on the site of the
and the children can work on them.
Well, we have 2 sessions a week, and we have the actual sort of teachers then take on board to cover the rest of the week. They're going to be given like a programme of what to do on them days, but there will be groups of kids from the nurseries to infants. They will sort of carry out a certain amount of tasks and stuff like that, but then they'll continue with it when they go to the juniors.
Oh, right, okay.
So we're going to continue it.
So give us some of the details then, how people can get in touch with you. Have you got a website?
I have, yeah. My website is www.don@every-picture.com, and the email is don@every-picture.
I've got it here.
Yeah.
don@every-picture.
Yeah, or hyphen.
.com.
Yeah.
A dash is easier.
Yeah.
So don@every-picture.com.
Yeah.
And you can work out some sort of programme with different people if they want.
Yeah, well, we are going to sort of devise a programme, and we'll just probably put that online on request, but we will deal with things.
Here, that's what you can do for us, Don, before you go. I'm going to have you back and we'll talk about it in more depth, a little bit shorter time today. So if you could just read that out, we'll make a jingle for you.
Oh, God.
So that it'll be played out all the time. So my name is from Blur.
Yeah.
Then read that out, and that last bit there is That's what you're saying. LCR, where the words matters most.
Okay.
But do dashes, not hyphens, because
it's
most
dash.
people
I'll
think
say
in
the
terms
word
of dash.
Yes, say dash.
So I won't dash when I do this. I'll do it quite slowly.
Right.
My name is Don Billington, and I've now recently started up my own business called Every Picture Tells a Story, where I cover like a vast area of horticultural practices. And I listen to LCR Liverpool Community Radio online at www.l-c-r.co.uk, and on my smartphone and iPhone, LCR, where the words matter most.
Thank you
Thank
very
you very
much,
much,
Don.
Don. Yep.
So should we have a little bit more, a couple of jingles, and we'll get our last guest in then, who is Steve Kahn, a singer-songwriter. So this is Liverpool Community Radio, and you're listening to Dave Knight and Brenda McGrath. Okay.
End of the night, I hear you calling. Take me to where the stars are falling. Sometimes down on me, there's so much for us to see. You know I get a little bit tired of talking, keeping me away. My tears are falling. Every night I'm feeling so low, watching the world outside my window. Moonlight swallowing me, heaven knows where I must be. You know I get a little bit tired of talking, keeping me away. My tears are falling. End of the night, I hear you calling. Take me to where the stars are falling. Moonlight swallowing me, heaven knows our destiny. You know I get a little bit tired of talking, keeping me away. My tears are falling. You know I get a little bit tired of talking, people in the way. My tears are falling down.
Okay, this is Dave Knight back on LCR. Now, before we carry on, we have the LCR call out. You can text us on 07970 119 887. We have a Twitter feed at tweet LCR. Email studio@lcr.co.uk. We also have a Facebook. Just search on Facebook for LCR Liverpool Community Radio, the new voice of the city, and join us to sign our e-petitions for a community radio licence, because at the moment we're the only community-based radio station in Liverpool, and we don't have a licence, and yet there are quite a few in Manchester that do, because Liverpool does deserve a full-time radio licence. Now, we're about to introduce our final guest, who is Steve Kahn, a local singer and singer-songwriter, and he's come in with his guitar, and, well, I'll say hello, Steve, and we
Hello.
will... You'd like to start with one of your songs?
Oh, I think so, yeah. I think so.
Okay.
That'd be nice.
What's it called? And
It's called Heart Against the Stone.
okay, take it away.
Okay, cheers. You look around but you can't see me. Don't leave me on my own. I've been here before, I know. Like a heart against the stone. Like a heart against the stone. Many times I called your name. Many walls I climbed alone. Hardly looked in my direction. Like a heart against a stone. You never looked into my eyes and said I love you. Like a heart against the stone. Write me a love song. Sing it out loud. If I leave, would you remember me? Would I stand out in your crowd? Like a heart against the stone. Heart against the stone. Like a heart against the stone.
Hey, yes,
that was lovely.
I really enjoyed that one.
Really nice. So how, I don't know whether you've asked these questions, how did you start in this, Steve? I mean, you're a Liverpool person.
Oh yeah, born and bred Liverpool. I think I got my first guitar when I was about 14, 15, and then picked it up about 4 or 5 times in my whole life till I was about 45. I think just too busy working and stuff like that, you just never do it, do you?
That's right, no.
And I couldn't play a complete song, I could play a few chords. And then I was at a wedding, I don't know, about 5 or 6 years ago, and got chatting to some guy who's now a really close friend, Kevin Wilkins, and Kevin was going, come on, play with me, come up, and I was going, I can't do a whole song, Kevin, I couldn't do it. So he sent me a challenge, and that was for the following year. He knew he was coming back to this gig, and he said, you need to come and play at least 5 songs. So the following year I came back, and I did 10 songs in a set in this show.
Now, were they sort of copies of?
Yeah, covers, yeah. I think I did 1 or 2 of my own, probably that one.
But did yours been songwriting then? You must have had some in your pocket, really.
Lots of ideas. It's like now, Brenda. It's like, millions of ideas, hundreds of lines, loads of little chords and riffs and stuff. And it's about taking that time to sit down and put them all together. So you go, that's a nice song. And that one there, it was done first take, didn't have to think about it too much.
How old's that song? How long?
That's probably about 4 years old, that song. It's about when you're in love with someone, but they're not in love with you.
Yeah.
You fight it.
Yeah.
And the first time I sang it, my mum said, "Oh yeah, I've got the T-shirt."
Yeah, it's quite sad, isn't it?
Oh,
However, it's also not uplifting, but it's nice. It's not sad and miserable. It's sad but nice.
Yeah, it's very melodic. I think that's, and it's easy to listen to.
Yes, it is easy to listen to. I know that a lot of the people we have in here, and we try to have like a band or a songwriter in every week to showcase some local one to showcase themselves. I was surprised because it's a long time since I've been associated with live music, but quite a lot of it is melodic. It's a very Liverpool thing, isn't it, to be melodic?
Yeah. And I think there's a I'm involved in a club called the Cornmarket Acoustic Club, which is it started off as a folk club 3 years ago, and we're coming up to our 3rd birthday in January, and we started off at a few little places as a folk club, and we found we'd all sit there with no disrespect to folk, because I love folk music, but we found we were all sitting there with our fingers in our ears, wearing our Fair Al jumper